So, as a woman leader and a mother,
Mm-hmm.
what role do you think that women can play? And we're moving a little bit off the educational piece
Yeah.
here,
Mm-hmm.
in redefining masculinity and supporting
Mm-hmm.
boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was thinking about that question, and like when I think about masculinity, or when I think about manhood, I think of it in two different ways. I think about manhood as like the state of becoming a male, or a male becoming a man, and that is quote unquote manhood. You've entered manhood, or some rite of passage to get you to that place. But then I think about the societal expectations that are put on men, and what manhood means and what masculinity means. And I think for women, what we can do is, you know, well, let me go back. When we think about masculinity, one thing that we've been trying to break down is telling men, like, you got to be strong. You can't show emotion. You know, to show vulnerability means that you're weak. Like, we have to change that narrative. And I think, especially for women who are raising boys, like, it's okay to raise boys to be emotionally intelligent, right? It's okay to raise boys to be vulnerable. They be able to share and express their emotions in a constructive way. I think we can support our men in their you know, as they grow and try to break the chains of society's expectation on what leadership means or what a provider means. You know, there are these gender roles that society has put in place, but I think one reason why we have one of the mental health crisis that we have is because men are expected to be a certain way, and to deviate from that means that you're not a man, or you're less than a man. And I think for women and girls, we can encourage, like, you know, no, it's okay to cry. It's okay to show emotion. It's okay to meet me in a place where, if I'm, you know, being emotional, or if I'm sharing in a vulnerable space, that you share too. Like, there can be an exchange, and it doesn't mean that I'm less than, or that he's less than. I think that's one way that women can show up for men, or try to break some of these societal norms that are arbitrary, right? And that keeps people from being their full authentic selves. So.
Right. One thing I will do is shed a tear. So
It's
always
necessary.
joke like from Friday when we said he gonna cry in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will cry in the car, you know. So
I mean, but
honestly,
that's
I feel like it's a release, you know.
It
It's necessary.
And it's something I learned very early. I lost my father when I was 18, and so this idea of like releasing this built up tension has always kind of served me well and allowed me to stay even keeled. Because as you mentioned, I think a lot of that is pent up and never gets released, and leads to other, you know, things that come out. So.
But I think also, like, you know, I grew up where my mother would say, you never let people see you cry. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, I grew up that way, and I never saw my mom cry until my great aunt passed away. And even when my mom passed away, I felt like I had to keep it together, right? And I know we're talking about men, but for women and being able to show up for men, I think having that mentality, well, never let people see you cry, it can be toxic, right? Like, no, like, people need to see that you're a human being, and that you have real life experiences, and that you feel things, and that's okay. And so we need to, I appreciate you sharing that you don't have a problem shedding a tear, but there are a lot of people who do, and you know, that can cause stress, it causes anxiety, high blood pressure. I mean, it impacts your physical health, not just your mental health.
For sure.
We were talking the other day, and I was saying, before we can teach our young men and men to be strong, we really have to teach them how to be whole. You know, I was listening to Jason Wilson, in, you know, in his most recent book release, and he was saying that, you know, the difference between men and women oftentimes are the vocabulary and how many expressions and feelings that they have too, right? You know, men often only have like the 8 box of crayons of emotions, right? Anger, you know, and whereas women often have that 64. And like, so how do we get more men, more boys to that box of 64 so we can talk about, find ways to release, right? And show up whole